At Rinkum and Dinky's barking circus, there is a clown that has messy red hair and glasses identical to Chucky performs. The clown scares Chucky, who cries. The clown then explains to Chucky that he's just acting, and underneath his costume, he's a regular guy, like Chucky's dad. Chucky looks up at Chaz and cries again, understanding what the clown said to him and thinking Chaz is really a disguised clown. Tommy cries as well, and as does every other baby in the circus. Dee Dee tells Stu that maybe they should leave. On their way out, an elephant advertising the circus poops in front of the entrance. As Dee Dee walks towards the elephant poop, Stu complains that they didn't even see the amazing human Rolodex. As Stu, Chaz, and Drew follow behind her, Angelica asks Drew why she has to leave, and she wasn't crying like Tommy, Chucky, and the other babies were. The man at the ticket booth then tells Stu, Dee Dee, Chaz, and Drew that he won't refund their money. As Dee Dee drives back home, she tells Stu that she's glad they left the circus, as she forgot how unsanitary they are. Stu tells her that circuses are an American institution and part of everyone's childhood. He concludes by saying that kids love the circus. In the back seat, Chucky proves him wrong by saying he hates the circus. Tommy tells Chucky that the circus is over now, and they're going back home. Chucky's relieved to hear this, and thanks Tommy for crying with him to back him up, as he felt stupid crying all by himself. Tommy tells Chucky he's glad to help him. In Drew's car, Angelica complains that she had to leave the circus just because Tommy, Chucky, and the other babies are crying. Drew tells her that got to see a lot of good stuff. He asks her if she remembers a big, scary lion, and Angelica complains that the lion had no teeth. Drew then tells Angelica that he bought her cotton candy, popcorn, and a stuffed turtle she was screaming for. Angelica complains that the stuffed turtle doesn't do anything, and slams it against the car door, tearing it, exposing its stuffing. Annoyed, Drew complains that he just wasted $16.95 on the stuffed turtle. Angelica says that the entire circus is dumb, and Drew tells her that if she had her own circus, she could do everything her way. This gives Angelica an idea. At Tommy's house, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil are in the playpen, playing with a set of wooden blocks. Angelica comes in and asks him to guess what she's doing. The babies gasp, ask Angelica what, and she tells them that she's going to run her very own circus, and if they do everything she says, they get to be in it. Chucky objects, saying that circuses have wild animals running around, acrobats flying through the air, no one to catch them, and clowns with big glasses and red hair sticking out, which he ironically has. Tommy, Phil, and Lil all like the idea of being in a circus. Lil suggests getting a big tent, and Phil suggests inviting everyone to come. Tommy decides he could be a lion tamer, and Spike could be his lion. Phil wants to be an acrobat, and Lil tells Phil that she wants to be one too. Angelica tells them they both can be acrobats, but she's going to be the ring monster. If they want to be in her circus, they better do as she says. Chucky nervously asks Angelica what would happen if one of them decided they didn't want to be in the circus. Angelica responds by showing him her now ruined stuffed turtle, saying he didn't want to be in the circus either. Chucky gulps and reluctantly decides to join Tommy, Phil, and Lil in Angelica's circus. A few minutes later, in Tommy's backyard, Chucky runs up to Lil and climbs on her, knocking her down. Angelica tells him he was supposed to jump on Lil's shoulders, not crawl all over her, and it's the third time he's missed. Chucky tells Angelica that he quits and he can't do what she says. Angelica tells Chucky if he wanted to quit, he can, as he doesn't have to be in the circus if it's too hard for him. Chucky asks Angelica if she really means it, and she tells him she does. However, if he quits, you'll have to explain to Tommy, Phil, and Lil that the circus won't happen. Chucky, seeing how much fun the other babies are having forming a human pyramid, asks Angelica if the circus really will be canceled because he refuses to participate. Angelica tells him it will, and Chucky asks her why. Angelica explains that everyone in a circus works as a team. Without him, there won't be any circus. Chucky, realizing he really is important, tries to tell Angelica he's changed his mind. Angelica announces to Tommy, Phil, and Lil through a toilet paper roll that the circus will be canceled because Chucky doesn't want them to have one. Tommy is shocked when he hears this, and Phil will ask Chucky if he doesn't want to play and have fun with them. Chucky tries to tell them he does, and he never said he didn't want them to have fun, but Phil interrupts, asking him why he won't let them have a circus. Chucky tells Angelica he's changed his mind, and he wants to be in the circus after all. Tommy, Phil, and Lil all cheer, and Angelica isn't sure she wants Chucky in her circus after all, since he can't really do anything in the circus. People have to do tricks. Tommy tells Angelica to at least give Chucky a chance to see what he can do, and he, Phil, and Lil beg her to consider it. Angelica tells them she will, and for them and Chucky to stand on their heads. The babies do nothing at birth, and after she tells them to stand on their heads, They all try to do so, but fall over. Angelica walks up to Chucky and yells at him, and Chucky yells at her that he's trying his best. A few minutes later, Angelica picks a tomato from Dee Dee's garden and hands it to Chucky. Tonight juggling is like playing catch, only by himself. Chucky tosses a tomato in the air and catches it, announces to Tommy Phil that he can juggle. Angelica hands him another tomato, telling him to juggle 2 tomatoes by throwing them up really high. Chucky does so and tries to catch the first one but misses and splats on the ground. The second tomato spats on his head. A few more minutes later, Angelica builds a ramp with a big wheeled tricycle at the top near Tommy's kiddie pool. She tries to push Chucky up the ladder to it, but they both fall over. Chucky asks Angelica if there's something easy he can do. Angelica then sarcastically says he could take a nap, play in the sand, and eat cookies. Chucky, unable to understand sarcasm, says that she could work. Angelica tells Chucky to forget it, and she tries to walk away. She stops, thinking of something he could do after all. She tells Chucky that he could be the human candy ball. She then says the circus will go on after all, and Tommy, Phil, and Mo all cheer in approval. And they and Angelica run away. Chucky asks what a human candy ball is. After setting her circus tent up, Angelica's dressed as a ringmaster, announcing her circus. As a lion tamer, Tommy's wearing Spike's food bowl like a hat and a pair of red boxer shorts over his diaper. As the acrobats Phil and Mo are wearing footed pajamas, Susie comes over pulling a wagon filled with stuffed animals. She asks Angelica if the circus is really here, and it doesn't look like the one she went to. Angelica tells her to look at the tent harder. Susie squints her eyes, and Angelica's tent looks a lot more like a real circus tent. Susie then tells Angelica that she brought some friends in the form of her stuffed animals. Angelica says it looks like a big crowd tonight. Meanwhile, Phil tells Lil she's rolling too fast, and she retorts her brother that he's rolling too slow. Tommy tells Spike he's going to be a ferocious lion, but only as an act. Spike responds by licking Tommy's face. Chucky, who's dressed in orange-footed pajamas and a bucket, asks Tommy what he's supposed to do as he doesn't know how to be a human candy ball. Tommy tells him not to worry, as Angelica said it'd be easy. Chucky then asks Tommy why he's dressed in orange-footed pajamas, and he pulls on his boxer shorts. Tommy tells him that everyone in the circus wears funny clothes, and that makes it fun. Chucky tells him he isn't having fun. Rather, he's having a stomachache. Inside her tent, Angelica asks the babies if they're ready yet. Tommy and the twins tell her they're ready, and Chucky asks if they could go over the concept of a human candy ball again. Angelica tells him that all he has to do is sit on one end of the seesaw and wait for her to blow the whistle. Chucky asks her if that's it, and she tells him it's pretty much. Chucky thinks it won't be so bad after all. Angelica begins her circus, with Susie and her stuffed animals and as her audience, and Angelica's fantasy. Her circus is filled with many performing clowns and wild animals. Angelica then says a lot of work went into making her circus, but she was happy to do it. She really thinks it's the greatest show on earth. She makes the entire audience erupt and thunderous cheering and applause. She then announces her first act with Phil and Lil as trapeze artists. Outside the tent, Phil and Lil argue who gets to go first. Phil and Angelica pulls them both in. In Angelica's fantasy, Phil and Lil fly through the air and land gracefully. All the stuffed animals cheer. Phil and Lil get hoisted up to the platform on ropes and perform as trapeze artists. After their performance, everyone cheers. Angelica then announces her second act, featuring Tommy as a lion tamer. Outside the tent, Tommy pushes Spike in, and in Angelica's fantasy, Tommy looks more like a lion tamer. Spike looks more like a lion. Tommy tames Spike and everyone cheers. Angelica then pushes Spike and Tommy aside and announces the third and final act, featuring Chucky as the human candy ball. Unfortunately, Chucky doesn't show up. After announcing a second time, Chucky still doesn't show up. Angelica tells Chucky to get in the tent. Chucky wants to talk to Angelica, and she walks up to him, telling him everyone's waiting for him to perform. Chucky then tells her he forgot what to do. Annoyed, Angelica tells Chucky to pay attention. This is the last time she's going to show him. Tells Chucky to sit on one end of the seesaw and to stay on it. She demonstrates by doing so herself. And she tells him that she'll blow her whistle again, demonstrating by doing so. This gets the attention of Phil and Lil, and before Angelica can explain the last step, Phil and Lil get on the other end of the seesaw, launching Angelica into the air and causing her tent to come crashing down. Tommy and Chucky emerge from the fallen tent, and Tommy tells Chucky that Angelica's circus is a lot better than the real circus. Chucky tells Tommy that he thinks he likes the circus now. Angelica, dazed, wraps herself in the tent and says that she's a human candy ball. Susie watches as Tommy tames Spike, Phil, and Lil as acrobats, and Chucky juggles 2 balls. At her house, while eating spaghetti, Angelica asks her parents where babies come from. Drew and Charlotte excuse themselves from the table, not knowing what to tell her. They agree to tell her the truth because that's what they decided to do a long time ago. Then get back to the table. Both parents have a conversation with Angelica, saying that starts with a mommy and a daddy. And Drew says that babies come from eggs. Charlotte tells Drew he is making it sound complicated, then goes on. It's a loss for words. Drew suddenly blurts out that both parents call the stork, which delivers an egg. Angelica now believes that babies come from stork eggs. The next day, which happens to be Ultra Bowl Sunday, at Tommy's house, Angelica tells the babies what her parents told her. The stork delivers an egg to a mommy and daddy who take care of the egg until it hatches into a baby. The babies are unable to believe the story, but Chucky's preconception of seeing it, if it's true, convinced them to go into the backyard. Meanwhile, Lou, Dee Dee, Charlotte, Betty, and Howard are busy watching the game while Stu and Drew begin preparing an omelet for the occasion. Drew asked Stu if he bought enough eggs. Stu said he ordered one gross of eggs to be on the safe side. Drew explains to Stu that a gross is 144 eggs, which is way too many. In the backyard, babies retrieve an egg from a bird's nest, thinking it's a stork's basket. The babies decide to call the baby in the egg Milton. They make a nest for the egg inside, but Angelica takes the egg away after the babies tell her about it, proclaiming it as her baby sister. While Angelica's telling the egg about how it will grow up to be like her, the babies find her and demand that she give back Milton, which she calls Miltonia. Chucky grabs Cynthia and threatens to take her away from Angelica if she doesn't return the egg to them. Tommy has an idea. Give her the eggs to their respective owners through the use of the twins. Chucky hands Cynthia over to Lil, then hands the doll to Angelica. Angelica hands the egg over to Phil, and he gives it to Chucky, only having Angelica reclaim the egg. Back in the kitchen, Stu and Drew continue to prepare the omelet for everybody. Stu wants to put on a particular kind of olive into the omelet, and Drew explains that those types of olives are still pitted. After the egg gets thrown onto the floor without getting cracked and getting taken by Spike, it goes in the hands of Stu. It's ready to crack the 144 eggs ordered from the grocery store. Tommy tries to take the egg back, but Stu unknowingly takes the egg and attempts to crack it. After the other babies distract the dads from the egg-cracking job, Tommy reclaims the egg. The brothers put the babies back into the playpen and tell them to wait a little longer for snack time, thinking that they came into the kitchen looking for something to eat. The egg hatches, and Milton the bird is born. After hearing Milton's first chirps, Dee Dee comes into the room and puts Milton back into his nest where he belongs. Initially, the kids think that Tommy's parents didn't want a baby right now, and they finally realize that Milton's a bird and not a human. Angelica, disappointed by this, asks where human babies come from. Susie, who had just come over with her family for the occasion, whispers into Angelica's ear where babies really come from, but Angelica doesn't believe her and thinks it was a joke. Milton's parents fly by the nest and share a kiss next to their little chick with a couple of bees buzz by, subtly hanging the term, the birds and the bees.